Hello, I'm Jonathan Gower and I'm an advisor to the James Lind Alliance, and I'll be chairing the Complex Fractures Priority Setting Partnership Workshop which is taking place on the 8th of June. I'd like to thank you for agreeing to take part in the workshop and finding time to view this short presentation. Before you watch the rest of this presentation, please could you make sure that you've watched this 3-minute animation, a link to which has been provided in your pack. This tells you about the James Lind Alliance and the work that has gone on leading up to this final workshop. So in this short presentation, I'm going to cover what the purpose of the workshop is, what will happen on the day, and how we'd like you to prepare for the workshop in advance. There's also another video in which we'll explain more about the project, the Priority Setting Partnership, and where the questions that you'll be working with have come from. So the workshop is the final stage of the Priority Setting Partnership for complex fractures. We're bringing together people with a personal experience of having a complex fracture alongside healthcare professionals who care and treat patients with complex fractures. You'll be working together to discuss the 18 questions which have come from previous surveys. From those 18 questions, you will agree the top 10 questions that you, as a group, most want researchers to answer. Afterwards, these will be promoted to researchers and organisations that fund research so that they can focus their research funding on the questions that really matter to you. So there will be about 12 to 14 people with a personal experience of having a complex fracture at the workshop, alongside about the same number of healthcare professionals from a range of different areas. And in addition to myself, I'll be joined by 3 other James Lind Alliance advisors who will help facilitate on the day. They are Mary Rose Tarpe, Susanna Kinsella, and Catherine Cowan. There'll also be a number of members from the Complex Fractures Priority Setting Partnership team at the workshop, alongside a couple of observers, but they will not be participating in the workshop itself. They will simply be observing the process. So document A in your participant pack gives you a detailed description of how everything will work out on the day. But in short, we're asking you to log in at about 9:30 and I will greet you. And that's simply a chance to make sure that the Zoom connection is working and that we can hear each other and see each other. After that, please feel free to disappear for a while and have a cup of tea. At 10 o'clock, we'll be starting the workshop, and there'll just be a quick roll call to make sure we can all hear each other and see each other, and then I shall talk through some ways of working for the day. For most of the day, we'll be working in small groups of around 6 to 7 people, and that'll be a mix of people with lived experience of a complex fracture alongside healthcare professionals. These will take place in Zoom breakout rooms, which will be automatically allocated, so you don't need to worry about that. Each group will have a facilitator who will share their screen and will be able to see the questions being moved around as you discuss them until you agree on a final ranked order. When we do this in person, we'd have the questions actually on cards and move them around a table. So this is a virtual version of that. But you do have some cutout cards in your pack, and if you would like to cut them out and do that physically at home, then please do so. All of the groups will prioritise the questions, and we will then combine their results to create a shared priority order. There'll be 2 rounds of prioritisation, one before lunch and then another one afterwards, when you'll be in a new group and you'll get to hear a range of different perspectives. At the end of the afternoon, we will come back into the main room and I will present the top 10 questions for complex fractures. And you'll hear about the next steps and the plans for turning these questions into research. It's a full day and we recognise that working online can be quite tiring. So we have built into the programme a number of breaks, but we do encourage you, if you need a break, to take time out at any other point. So please feel free to do that. Each small group will be facilitated by a James Lind Alliance advisor. and their role is to manage the discussion and to make sure that everyone has their say. It's important to emphasise that we're not researchers or experts in complex fractures. We are there to support you in a fair and impartial way, to keep an eye on the clock and to help you complete the task on time. So your role on the day is to contribute to the discussions. Whether your knowledge comes from your personal lived experience of having a complex fracture or your professional expertise, these voices are all of equal value. So you'll be hearing a range of different opinions and perspectives, and we ask you to work in partnership with each other. We want you to focus on what you want research to address, not how the research itself will be done. So you don't need to know anything about research, and you don't need to try and answer the questions. These are discussions that will happen after the workshop. We ask you to be mindful of time and to respect confidentiality, and I'll say a bit more about that on the day. So a few words about group decision making. It can be challenging and often requires pragmatism and sometimes compromise. It's very unlikely that the shared top 10 that we come out with at the end of the day will be the same as the top 10 that you chose before the workshop. But we hope you feel that if one or two of the questions in your top 10 make it into the final top 10, that you'll be happy with that. It's important to stress that all the questions will be published and available to researchers. We create a top 10 because in a world of limited funding, we have to focus, but nothing will be lost if it doesn't get into the top 10. If you have any concerns during the workshop, then please talk to your facilitator, and we also have numbers and contact details for technical and emotional support, which are in your pack if you need it. So we'd be grateful if you could do a number of things to prepare in advance of the workshop. Please read your participant pack, that's document A, and complete your worksheet and have it to hand, that's document C, in which you highlight your high and low priority questions. If you like, you can cut out the questions and have them on your desk at home, that's document E. If you're unfamiliar with Zoom, then we'd be happy to do a run through with you to show its features so that everything runs smoothly on the day. And please make sure you've submitted your needs and interests form, and if you have any other questions, then please do not hesitate to contact us. So I'd like to thank you for taking the time to watch this video and for your preparations and participation in the Complex Fractures workshop on the 8th of June. I'm really looking forward to the day and looking forward to working with you all. Thank you very much.